Crimson Tide got both of its coordinators for the program. You're rocking and rolling right here on the hottest show in the streets. Talking your Alabama football news in my own word, George truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Proud to have all of you checking us out on today. Get right on in here. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, stop all that you're doing. Hit that subscribe button, smash subscribe right now. Make this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide. Also, don't forget to tap that like button one time. Give a like on the show, run those likes up, give us that thumbs up right there. We appreciate you guys trying to get this 50 likes to start the show. The Daily Super Chat go $100. Daily Super Chat go $100 right there. We appreciate all donations, Super Chats, very much so. And be sure to turn on all of those notifications so that way you miss nothing when it comes to your football program, that being the Crimson Tide. We got a lot to dive into, whole lot to discuss, especially where the new hire of defensive coordinator is concerned here for Alabama. We're going to also be joined by two-time national champion and USFL champion running back Bo Scarborough, stopping by, helping us out here on the network. We want to hear from you, the passionate fans of Tide football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. But we jump into this here first, Elon, that being Bama, both coordinators hired. They're both in the fold here. We talked about Tommy Rees last week as the OC, and now the DC has been named. Now, of course, once again, not the state-of-the-art name, not the top-of-the-line name, not the big, sexy name that people are like, this is the guy, but still, a name, solid, good, efficient, has been at Bama before, and you can win. And you can win national championships with this name if everybody else around him, talking players and coaches, perform up to that standard and their potential. That name being Kevin Steele returns to the University of Alabama as a defensive coordinator. Coach Saban bringing his buddy back to the Crimson Tide. Kevin Steele was in Tuscaloosa 2007 as the defensive coordinator, 2008 as an inside linebackers coach, and he went to Clemson to be the DC for the Tigers. And when he returned from Clemson, he came back to Alabama as the director of player development or player personnel in 2013. Then he was a linebackers coach in 2014 before leaving the Crimson Tide again. Most recently, he was at Miami, but now he's back. He's back at the University of Alabama. News came out on Sunday, broken by ESPN's Chris Lowe. Kevin Steele accepted the DC job here for the Crimson Tide. And, Coach Steele has a lot of experience, a wealth of experience defensively, both in college football and in the NFL. He's coached every position defensively except for the defensive line. He's got like 39-plus years of experience when you talk about. He's coached defensive backs. He's coached linebackers. He's been a head coach. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's been everywhere in terms of the defensive side of the ball, with the exception of the defensive line. Also, Kevin Steele is a proven name in the SEC. Going back to Saban loves those guys that have a footprint in this conference, the Southeastern Conference, and knows how this conference operates. Steele has been at Tennessee with defenses. He coordinated defenses at both LSU and Auburn. Coordinated LSU's defense 2015, was with Auburn 2016 to 2020. And the interesting thing about those Auburn defenses he had, they gave Alabama's offense fits. Not just Bama's offense, but other offenses in the SEC as well, because Steele didn't have to blitz very often. He got pressure with 4- and 5-man fronts. He got pressure doing twist stunts, tangle stunts, blitzing different defensive linemen into the same gap, having quick guys wrap around the edge to collapse the pocket, affect the quarterback, not even allow the quarterback to get outside the pocket, or if the quarterback got outside the pocket, run the quarterback down. So Kevin Steele had guys like, Montavious Adams at Auburn, Nick Coe at Auburn, Derek Brown at Auburn, a number of different guys that just absolutely frustrated the quarterback, which allowed the defensive backs for the Tigers to kind of play on an island, man-to-man coverage, those types of things right there. If you look back for 2017, Iron Bowl, for just to give you an example here, the pressure that Auburn had on Jalen Hurts was so they consistently harassed Jalen Hurts in that 2017 Iron Bowl. Hurts only had 112 yards passing on 12 completions. Auburn got the 26-14 win. Jalen Hurts was only sacked twice, but that pressure just consistently got to Jalen Hurts to where he could not stay in the pocket. They were coming after him. And these were not blitzes. These were 4- to 5-man looks. Then you look at the 2019 Iron Bowl with Mac Jones. Mac Jones was only sacked once, and yes, he did throw 4 touchdown passes, but that pressure from Kevin Steele's defense kept getting to him, kept harassing him in the pocket there to where he did have, unfortunately, 2 pick sixes in that game, and Alabama fell to Auburn 45-48 in that Iron Bowl. So at Auburn, those Kevin Steele defenses, they kept Auburn alive in games. They kept Auburn alive in seasons, if you will. So the guy is proven in the SEC. And despite the fact that some people may not be necessarily feeling the Kevin Steele hire, you got several Alabama players or former Alabama players that are feeling this hire. Reggie Ragland on Twitter: Kevin Steele believed in me when nobody else did. Speaking highly of Mr. Steele there. Marquise Mays said Kevin Steele was his primary recruiter, that he got tough stuff out of him. Kevin Steele. You got Clinton Dix, who basically agrees with Marquise Mays' statement, and Clinton Dix said, "You right, Mays. He ain't no buddy. He gave us tough love, hard-nosed coaching." We got a good one here with Kevin Steele coming back to Tuscaloosa. So you got already several former players excited about this move, excited about this hire. And also, let's keep in mind that Kevin Steele did have a hand in molding, developing the likes of Reggie Ragland, Rashaan Evans, and Reuben Foster, the last of the hit, stick, soul snatching, bone crushing linebackers. Kevin Steele did have a hand in developing those guys at Alabama. So having him back in the program, it does mean something. It does mean something. Your defense is going to look better. It's going to be more disciplined, more sound, aggressive, physical. They're going to hit hard. They're going to play with a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of toughness, because that's what Kevin Steele brings as an older guy. I understand Saban has become more used to the younger coordinators. Kirby Smarts, Jeremy Pruitt's, Will Muschamp's. Even though Pete Golding wasn't proven for the moment, wasn't prepared for the moment, you still got a ring with Pete Golding also. But Saban going the older route here, bringing the 64-year-old Kevin Steele to coach this defense. Former players excited. We know he's got tenure in the SEC. We know he's got tenure as a defensive mind. The group is going to be better with him setting it in motion. It'll be fun to watch how he performs here, spring ball, and the upcoming season. And I'll say this. When you look at Kevin Steele, this is a B to B plus hire. I get it's not an A to A plus hire for most people. Some people. But in the NFL, you can have a B to B plus quarterback, but as long as everybody around him is playing at an A to A plus level, you can win a Super Bowl with a B to B plus quarterback. You can. So it's the same thing here. Kevin Steele, B to B plus coach, but everybody around him, players, coaches, you perform at an A to A plus level, you can win a national championship with Kevin Steele. This is not a bad hire by any sense of the imagination, but definitely looking forward to seeing how he does, performs, goes about spring, goes about summer workouts, fall camp, and the 2023 season. But the one thing you are going to get from him, you're going to get energy, you're going to get effort, you're going to get toughness, you're going to get physicality, and he's going to get in these boys, you know what's, and demand excellence from every last one. And accountability. Tough love, and accountability. And that's what you want if you're the Alabama faithful. You haven't had that in the last 5 years with Pete Golding. With Kevin Steele, you're going to get toughness, tough love, physicality, discipline, effort, play fast, and you're going to know what you're supposed to be doing out there. We take our break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting you warmed up here on a Monday. When we come back, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. What's your opinion on the hiring of Kevin Steele for D.C.? We'll talk to you guys after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back into the action from the break here on a Monday. Hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man Eli Walker in the production studio. Remember, a thumbs up on the show. Tap that like button. Raise those like levels up. Trying to get this 50 likes out the gate right now. Starting the show. Continue hitting the like button there. And also, daily super chat go. $100 daily super chat go. $100 right there. We appreciate each and every last one of you guys. But right now, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. Hey, my man. I watched you again, bud.
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I feel right. Me and my friend on TikTok, she's an Alabama fan. She said, she said, roll tide to you, bud.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Absolutely.
Hey, Steven.
Go ahead.
Steven, are you talking about Steele? You think he might be a good coordinator?
I think so. He's got experience, got years of experience coaching defenses. Back at Alabama, he was here once before, so that the main thing is that the effort's going to be there, the discipline will be there, the toughness will be there. Yes.
How about Jeremy Pruitt?
Well, Pruitt, actually, we'll get into more on Pruitt later on in the show as an update. So stick around. Later in the show, we'll get into Pruitt. Appreciate that call right there, calling into the show there. We'll get into Pruitt later on in the show. There's actually an update there where he is concerned. So I know a lot of people have been asking, so what's the deal with Jeremy Pruitt with getting in Kevin Steele? So we got the update here on Pruitt, going back to trusted people that I have heard from, that I continue to be in communication with. So later on in the show, we'll dive into more of where we stand as far as Jeremy Pruitt potentially expecting to be on this Alabama coaching staff in some way, shape, form, capacity. But cool call topic right here. I mean, yes, the hires are in with Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees as your offensive and defensive coordinator. Yes, upon the hire of both of these two, many of us looked at this as really, no, not the big name, not the big splash name that, Bama's accustomed to seeing. But like I said with Tommy Rees, we have to contextualize things, people. We have to put things into perspective. So just because it may not be the on top of the heel name, when you take a step back and you put the things in perspective, then you look at it and go, okay, these two make a lot of sense. Coach Saban understanding what he's doing, this works. I mean, you have a Kevin Steele where the defense is going to be better. It's going to play better. It's going to play faster. It's going to be more physical. It's going to pound teams. It's going to look to get after teams. With Kevin Steele, he doesn't have to blitz a whole lot. I mean, he does. He does blitz, but he doesn't have to blitz a whole lot. He can take 4 to 5 guys, get pressure with 4 to 5. So he's going to turn guys like Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, those pass rushers, loose. Get after the quarterback. In terms of Tommy Rees, this could be 2015 Alabama offense all over again, where you may not have the bell cow running back in Derrick Henry, but you use all the backs you have. You use Chase McClellan. You use Roydell Williams. You use Jamarian Miller. You use Justice Haynes. You use Richard Young. You keep everybody fresh and you rotate them. You use 12 personnel. Get your tight ends out there. Have them a part of the offense. Build off that run game with play action pass. Go back to those sustaining drives that eat the clock, wear the clock, and keep the opposing offense on the sideline. Beat teams up with that physicality that way. Saban's been wanting to kind of go back to that style for a minute now. And with Tommy Rees, that gives him a chance to go back to that. So as we really focus in on the meat and potatoes, I get it. Not the jump off the roof top hires, but at the same time, you can win with both of these two. At the same time, you can excel with both of these two. And looking forward to see how they perform this spring. This is going to be a big A-Day. How we see their philosophy in spring football, their philosophy in fall camp, most importantly, their philosophy when it comes down to the next football season in the fall. But we take another break right here, folks. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we sit with the legend, two-time national champion and USFL champion Bo Scarborough joins the show to give us his thoughts on everything right after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling in here from the break. Well, to the action from the break. of the #1 forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Continue hitting that like button, tapping that thumbs up right there, subscribing to the channel, the show, giving us those awesome donations, super chats as well. But we head over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up heavy hitter right here, the phase of the USFL, the commissioner of the USFL, if you will, a USFL champion for the Birmingham Stallions, a two-time national champion during his time at the University of Alabama as a running back, and one of the baddest men to run the football for one Coach Saban. We bring him on right here. The man needs no introduction, but Bo Scarborough is in the building. Bo, what's going on, man?
What's up, Stephen Smith? I like the introduction, man. You turn me up every time.
Hey, but we got to turn you up, man, because you are the man of the hour. So we got to make sure the man of the hour is turned up. And Bo, to start this off, you said this to me, and you called it the whole time. You said this to me about how Coach Saban will not hire who you think he's going to hire. And you and I have both had this conversation where so many people may feel like, oh, that's a big name, that may seem like the right name, but, Saban may not necessarily hire that name. And you brought this to my attention about a month ago. You brought this to my attention. So both coordinators have been hired, and it's Tommy Rees for offense and Kevin Steele for defense. None of these two were the initial names thrown out there. So kind of speak to, once again, your point of Saban doesn't hire who you think he's going to hire, but, how do you think these two coordinators will fit? How do you think they'll do here under Coach Saban at Alabama?
Stephen, man, Coach Saban is a different type of guy. Everyone wants Jeremy Pruitt to be the defensive coordinator. And like I said before, Coach Saban gonna hire who he think best fit the situation. Now, he could bring Jeremy Pruitt in as an analyst, but he's not gonna be the DC. But Kevin Steele knows the philosophy of Alabama. He knows what Bama is built on, and he knows what Coach Saban is looking for. He's been in the system before. He's been around Coach Saban for years. He knows the system. So I think that Kevin Steele will walk right in there, and I think he would turn some heads pretty quickly because he knows their defense as well, just like Kirby Smart. Maybe not as detailed as Kirby Smart, but he's neck to neck with Jeremy Pruitt and Kirby Smart with being a DC. And Kevin Steele will have the linebackers in the right position, and he will be the coordinator that everyone's looking for.
Talking with Bo Scarborough right here on the show. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Like the move of Kevin Steele. Once again, not the splash hire that most people wanted to see happen, but like you mentioned, Bo, a guy that understands what Nick Saban is trying to do. He is going to have that toughness in the room. He's going to have that physicality in the room. He's going to make sure that guys are out there playing fast, physical football, which is what you want. And then Tommy Rees, from an offensive coordinator perspective, will be able to have you run the football, build off of that with play-action pass. But, Bo, Saban is he's about to enter year 17 in Tuscaloosa. And to me, this is just wild how you're entering year 17. Most coaches would kind of break down after year 10 or even year 12. But Saban, year 17, it just feels like there's even more fire to him, especially after the last 2 years. Didn't win the national championship. Of course, Kirby Smart got it with Georgia back-to-back years. But when you look at Saban about to enter year 17, Bo, and you played for him, in your opinion, what keeps him going in terms of just that fire and not allowing himself to even slow down?
I'm gonna say this, and he said this quote every year. At the beginning of the season, And I think this is what, keeps him going is he says that mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. And I think that Coach Saban want to be one of the most highest achievers ever, because if you look at his history, I mean, the guy, man, he got a philosophy. If it ain't broke, why fix it? And every class that came through that won championships, and because they don't want to be mediocre, they want to be high achievers, and that's one of the things that I think that really keeps Coach Saban going. That mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers doesn't like mediocre people.
If you're just checking out the show, we got the man, the legend right here, Bo Scarborough, two-time national championship running back for your Crimson Tide and USFL champion right here on the show. And, Bo, you look at this year's spring game, this year's A-Day game. Normally, people look at A-Day, it's a show, it's for fun, go out there, watch the guys compete out there against themselves. But, something tells me that this A-Day, this April, going to be a lot different. People will go out there with a bit more anticipation because there's so much newness. You got new coordinators. You're going to have quarterback competition. You're going to have receivers. Can they build more? You're going to have two freshman running backs. Can they get playing time in here? You're going to have faces on defense. They're going to be new faces. Just a lot of newness in trying to get back to that national championship and win and kind of disrupt some of that momentum that Kirby Smart's got going on there at Georgia. But, Bo, for you, do you feel like this A-Day is a big, pivotal A-Day here, for Crimson Tide and the fans?
I would say yeah. Because
go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, and I said, I think that it's going to be a lot of people that want to see what's going on and who's going to be the quarterback, who's going to be the running back, who's going to be the star receiver, what our defensive coordinator look like, what our offensive coordinator look like, who's going to be the linebackers, who's going to be over there or the corner. So I think there's a lot that a lot of people want to see that we're going to make a lot of people come out. And, yeah, but like you said, man, it's gonna be a hell of an A-Day this year.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how this unfolds. I mean, to me, it's I definitely want to see the philosophy of both coordinators. I do. Where are they gonna run? How are they gonna coach? What they're gonna look like? You definitely want to look at the quarterback race, that situation between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. What could become of that? At the running back position, there's your guy, Bo Justice Haynes. How much time could he get on the field as a freshman? Just so much to kind of take apart and look at. But it'll be fun once March and April get in here, because that's when we will see it all unfold and come together. But as always, Bo, we appreciate it, my man. I know you're doing USFL, Birmingham Stallions, getting stuff ready to go here for the season. But as always, man, you take care of yourself, brother. You be good, and we'll have you back soon.
Man, thank you, man. And tomorrow night at 6 o'clock p.m. with the Bama Standard, and 7 o'clock Wednesday with Developmental Focus Point with me, Trent Richardson, and Kristen Jones. So make sure y'all go to YouTube and tap in today, like and subscribe. Roll Tide, and see you tomorrow, Steve.
Absolutely. Bo Scarborough joined us right there on the show. Two-time national championship running back for Alabama, USFL champion. Absolutely. You got the Bama Standard tomorrow, every Tuesday. Streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. Check that out right there. And then every Wednesday, Bo's got his show, Developmental Focus Point, with him, Blake Sims, Christian Jones, Trent Richardson. A lot of fun right there. A lot of fun, a lot of conversation, and a lot of stories. We'll get into that as well. But we take our break here, folks. When we get back, return to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts. We get to your conversations. Line us up with how you are feeling on a Monday after this.
sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
How we feeling, people? We're back locked and loaded from the break to the action right here. Hottest show on the streets. Dropping that Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue tapping that like button, hitting that thumbs up, tapping that subscribe button as well. Making sure you're staying locked and loaded right here to your network, giving you all the Bama football news. Also, all donations welcomed and appreciated. That daily Super Chat go $100 daily. Super Chat go $100 right there. We thank you guys. But right now, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
How about you, Lucky? Mike from Kentucky.
Mike, what's going on, brother?
Well, you know, the winds changes have done blowed on us, I guess. I mean, if we were going to get that back to the grind you into a fine powder downhill running game, I mean, how many running backs do we have in our stable that fit the Derrick Henry, Bo Scarborough, you know, Derek Lacey? I mean, how many running backs we got like that fit that mold?
Well, here we go. Well, when you look at just this upcoming season here, Mike, I think Chase McClellan fits that. Roy Dale fits that. Jamarian Miller kind of fits more of a Josh Jacobs type role. I look at Justice Haynes and Richard Young. They can fit that. Depends on how quickly they pick things up in spring ball. But off the top, just Roy Dale fits that. Chase McClellan fits that.
Right on. You know, to me, the best power runner we got is Jalen Milroe.
I mean, and him being the quarterback, I mean, we know what he can do. We know what he can do.
I mean, if that's what they want to do, it wouldn't surprise me to see Ty Simpson take the quarterback job and put Milroe back at tailback. I mean, that boy's a freak in the weight room. That's what you got to have if you want to run downhill.
I've heard, Mike, so many people look at Milroe for running back, look at Milroe for tight end. Some look at Milroe for linebacker because of his size and his athleticism. I could see it. Now, of course, with him, he would want to see him in action as a quarterback, and if he can fine-tune that a little bit more of that passing game, which he's working on right now this offseason, because if he can get out there and really light folks up in that passing game, and it's him as a passer along with him as a runner, he's dangerous. That cat dangerous.
I mean, what kind of offensive scheme is this new coordinator going to run? If he runs a RPO type offense, I think Milroe's the guy.
What he's looking to do here, Mike, he's looking to run RPO, but at the same time, I look at what Tommy Rees may do is put Bama back in the fold in the mind of 2015 Bama, where you had the ground and pound with Derrick Henry, but you had RPO and play action shots with Jake Coker to Calvin Ridley, to Ardarius Stewart, and to O.J. Howard when you felt like using O.J. Howard. So that's where I feel like Tommy Rees takes this to.
Yeah, I'm hoping somebody can step up to complement Jaheim Otis on the D-line. I mean, that's a big concern. We've got to get back to, you know, being able to turn our edge rushers loose. You know, last year that real good kid we had, he got double-teamed so much because we just couldn't put enough pressure up the middle. At times it trickled down to the secondary as well. I mean, you can't expect the secondary to keep, you know, everybody covered for 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. I think both of these hires are going to be okay. We've always got the talent, and I think Saban kind of just went with an old familiar, a guy kind of cut out of the same cloth as him. Maybe he can bring that downright mean, ugly, and nastiness back to the defense we've been all waiting to see for the last couple of seasons. All right, man. Have a good night, Stephen.
Absolutely. Mike from Kentucky calling in. You already got quite a few former players, like I said, excited about the hire of Kevin Steele. Reggie Ragland pumped up. Clinton Dix pumped up. Marquise Mays pumped up. And those won't be the only ones. I'm looking forward to seeing, as I check back into social media later tonight, more former players come out with their approval of Steele as the hire for DC. But, going back to Tommy Rees as the OC, to me, I look at this. He's going to look to run a lot of power run game, build off of that with play action pass, take some shots downfield, and then who complements Jaheim Otis. This is the reason why we look at Jamil Burrows, we look at T.M. Smith, we look at Jamarian Latham, we look at guys like Damon Payne, we look at Monkel Goodwine, we look at now James Smith coming in here. There's several guys in here. So Bama's got the pieces to complement a Jaheim Otis. It's who's ready to take the moment and make it theirs. You're even returning Justin Boygby for a fifth year. So who's ready to take the moment and make it theirs? That's the question. But we grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. You're live on the show. Call.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Is Dawson Siri, is he still there?
Dawson Siri is still at Alabama. He's in an all-field role, but he's still at Alabama.
But what I'm thinking too, if we don't get Jimmy Pruitt, just kind of listen to me now. I'll put let Dawson Siri run the defense. He's a good coordinator. He's a good coach.
Sal Sunseri is a good coach, and Sal Sunseri has been a coordinator before. Me personally, I would love to see Sal back on the field coaching those outside linebackers due to the way he had Will Anderson and Dallas Turner playing 2020 and 2021. That's just Will in 2020, then Will and Dallas together in 2021. That's just me personally. I still think with Kevin Steele, it's a good move, and Steele will have the guys playing tough, but Sunseri, I like Sunseri. I want to see him back on the field.
Mm-hmm. To me, on the offensive side of the ball, I'm not too sure about our new offensive coordinator. I'm kind of worried about that position.
Well, with Tommy Rees, young guy at 30 years old, coming over from Notre Dame, he spent 6 years with the Irish, coaching quarterbacks and running offense. The thing with him, he's trying to take Alabama back to 2015 Alabama, where you ran the football a lot with Derrick Henry. You used play action. You used motion there with Jacob Coker too, Calvin Ridley, Ardarius Stewart, O.J. Howard. Used a lot of jet sweep action there. So he's trying to get back to that. He didn't have just a whole bunch of talent at Notre Dame, so he had to use what he had. But from what he had, he did a pretty decent job there. So now you come to Alabama where you will have the talent to run what you want to run, what you're trying to run. Even though you may not have the bell cow back of a Derrick Henry, you have a running back stable where you can keep guys fresh and rotate guys. So Tommy Rees trying to get back to power, run, and play action.
Okay, can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Okay. If it was me, I'll put Jalen Muro into the running back room. But just because then you have Tasman. Yes, it might hurt your quarterback room, but at least you bring your younger guys behind Ty Simpson, and then use Jalen Muro as a purpose back because he can run the ball.
Well, I mean, if you do that, though, the guys behind Ty Simpson are freshman guys when you discuss Dylan Larnigan and Eli Holstein, and you're going to have to see what are these guys in spring practice. I would keep Jalen Milroe at quarterback just due to at least he's got some experience at that quarterback position. If something were to break down, you can go to him. But appreciate that call right there. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
See what's going on, man.
Doing good, man. And yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Hey, I just calling, man, to check in on you. Everything been going well?
Everything been going well, Jay. Been going real well. I mean, hey, we got the coordinators in here, Jay, brand new guys. You got Kevin Steele back in here to put some toughness in this defense, and you got Tommy Reese, who's trying to take you back to 2015 Bama offense.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I'm a little optimistic, Steve. I don't know, man. I want a Jeremy Pruitt, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, but hey, Kevin Steele, though, he should be a upgrade from last year for sure.
Jay, I'll say this, and I'll get to this later on in the show. Don't give up the hope of Pruitt in some way, shape, or form being back at Alabama still.
Okay. I'm hoping and praying for that one.
All right.
Man.
Appreciate Jay. Go ahead.
Last thing, Steve. Man, hey, for everybody, man, what is it? I miss on Steve? Where everybody wants Jalen Miro to be a running back now, man.
I have no idea. I understand but the man want to be a quarterback. He wants to be a quarterback. All he's got to do is fine-tune his game just a little bit, and he's dangerous. Exactly. I mean, the guys behind Ty Simpson are both freshmen. Now, am I saying that Dylan Larnigan and Eli Holstein can't make a jump? Obviously, they can, depending on what they do in spring ball. But Jalen Milroe's got experience playing quarterback this past season. So if something, you need to have somebody with experience, and Jalen Milroe, he did throw a little bit last year.
Exactly. I don't know, Steve. I guess we ain't watched the same game, but I mean, teach his own. But I think, hey, everybody was saying the same thing about Jalen Hurts, but he hit the Super Bowl. So anyway, roll tide, Steve, man. Take care. Have a good night, man. Bama Nation, we gonna be back.
Appreciate Jay from Florence calling in right there. I mean, I don't understand it. Jalen Milroe, a running back. I don't get that. I mean, I understand. He's a dynamic athlete. Yes. He's got great legs. Absolutely. But the man signed his national letter of intent to be a quarterback. And that's what he intends on doing. All he's got to do, fine-tune the passing game just a smidge. And the guy's going to be fine. We take this call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Curtis from Austin.
Curtis, what's going on?
How you doing tonight, brother?
Doing fantastic, man. Just Nick Saban got the new coordinators in here, and after a minute of actually just looking at this, I'm like, you know what? This is not as bad as what some people make it out to be.
Sure. I wondered if you had any inside information on, is Reese a good recruiter?
Tommy Reese, recruiting aspect, that I'm not sure, but from the development aspect, he can develop a quarterback. I mean,
recruiting is big. I mean,
recruiting is big now.
That's something Saban's big on too.
Now, recruiting is big. Now, the one big thing here is 2024 quarterback Julian Sand. Julian Sand mentioned on social media that Tommy Reese was his recruiter in terms of trying to get him to Notre Dame before he settled in. Yes, before he settled in on Alabama. So now with Tommy Reese at Alabama, Julian Sand says, hey, the guy that was trying to get me to Notre Dame is now at Alabama, and I'm committed to Alabama. Here is this.
How about that? Well, I sure hope he is a good recruiter. I think he can make us a good offensive coordinator. He's kind of going back to maybe the McElwain years and maybe leaning toward Milroe as quarterback, because he runs first.
I see it. I see it. It's a little bit of McElwain, but also I see it more of that 2015 Bama offense too, where Tommy Rees is going to scheme up some play action shots downfield. He's going to scheme up some deep balls downfield also. And the one thing about him, he's young enough to where if something's not working, he will quickly change and adjust instantly. Not like it's not like O'Brien. No offense to O'Brien, 53 years of age, but O'Brien got stuck in his way. If something didn't work, O'Brien.
Go ahead and throw plenty of offense his way.
I mean, because O'Brien, it was like
we get the blinders on and call 6 or 8 plays, and that was it.
And he kept flipping the playbook back and forth, calling the same thing, knowing that it was not working. So it needs with Tommy Rees at 30 years old. He understands, hey, I called this. It don't work. Scrap it. Change it. Let's run something different. We'll come back to this once we soften the defense up some.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited about both of them, Stephen. All right, brother. You have a good night. Bye-bye.
Appreciate Austin calling in right there to the show here on In My Own Words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine here on a Monday. We got another call coming in here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Chad from Miami.
Chad, what's happening, man?
Not much, man. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing okay. What's on your mind, Chad?
So I think the reason why everyone is kind of down on Milrose because I understand we have a new offensive coordinator coming in, and it's going to take some time for Milrose to adjust and to become good over a period of time. So I've been looking up the stats. I believe Jalen Hurts in the NFL, he was completing about 50% of his pass in his first year as a starter. Then he bumped to, I believe it's about 60%, and then this year he took a leap. And then same thing for Josh Allen coming out of college. His first year in the NFL, he went from 52% passing to about 59%, and then he went to like 66%. So I understand what everybody's saying. They're cheering for Milroe to be the quarterback, but him taking a leap is not going to happen in one off season. I think it's going to take at least like a year or two in a system for him to fully develop. So basically, with Bill O'Brien's offense, I mean, we needed a change, man. It was watered down, no creativity. YouTuber did a breakdown where all the receivers were either always ending up in the same area or always running routes 10 yards or more down the field, which makes no sense. You're supposed to attack different levels of the defense. And if all the receivers are 10 yards down the field and Bryce had no time to really throw the ball with a struggling O-line, that kind of makes Bryce look like the bad guy, and he's always scrambling and so on and so forth. And then second thing is there's no reason why the running back should be leading the team in catches and yards when we have 10 receivers on the team. So I don't think O'Brien really like schemed the receivers up anything. Look at Smitty with Sarkisian. Sarkisian pretty much helped him become a Heisman Trophy winner. He was like the featured player in the offense. So I don't think all the players were really fully used to their capacity. And then on top of that, I think O'Brien was kind of stuck in his ways, man. It is what it is. So I'm kind of glad he moved on. I'm happy for the new coach that's coming in, where he's going to have a brand new O-line to work with, and he can also incorporate using a tight end. And then the defense, Pete Golan had to go, man. Too much creativity. Players were out of position or they didn't know the plays. No toughness. I think the players liked him, but they didn't really respect him. And then still coming in, everyone is kind of looking at it as a bad thing, but I think it is good because the reason why the Miami defense kind of sucked, I kind of looked at it and look at a breakdown from another YouTuber today. The Miami defense stayed on the field. The offense turned the ball over a lot, and then the offense wasn't on the field a lot. The opponents were beating Miami in time of possession. Like most of Miami's games, the defense was on the field most of the time. So in 2021, Miami's defense was rated in the 80s with less turnovers, and in 2022 with more turnovers on the offense, and the defense staying on the field longer than what it's supposed to be. The Miami defense is actually ranked lower in the 60s. So I believe Steele is good. He's going to come and bring a little bit of toughness. I hope Pruitt also comes to help assist Steele on the defense to help the defense out. Because like I said, man, we need toughness. We need players in position. We don't need a lot of creativity. We just need we need players that are going to work, and that's going to bring back the full Bama standard, man. That's what we really should be looking forward to. And I'm happy we needed to change it.
Absolutely. Appreciate Chad from Miami calling in right there to the show. It goes back to something a good friend told me. Bill O'Brien was not creative enough. Pete Golding was way too creative. There needed to be a balance there. And when you look at Tommy Rees is very creative enough. And when you look at Kevin Steele's not going to hit you with a whole lot of exotic stuff. It's going to be, let's get the plays that work. We're going to run these plays to perfection. We're going to play with toughness. We're going to play with grit. We're going to fly around the field. We're going to hit people. We're going to play physical football, and I'm going to hold everybody in this room accountable. That's Kevin Steele. He's going to come with a lot of tough love. And for some players, it's going to be interesting to see how they receive that tough love. Some people, they do great with tough love. Some people, tough love can be a bit of a challenge for them. So this spring, it'll be an interesting spring and an interesting off-season nonetheless. But appreciate you guys calling in, giving your thoughts on the show. Interesting call topic here, Eli, as Alabama stake to DBU. Boy, did that hold up well in the NFL Pro Bowl games on yesterday. Trayvon Diggs and Patrick Surtain II both collected interceptions. They both got picks. Trayvon Diggs has bragging rights for the rest of his life. He picked off his brother, Stephon Diggs. That was kind of funny right there. Patrick Surtain picked off Jared Goff. And the whole Pro Bowl format's kind of weird. I kind of don't necessarily like it, but it is what it is. I guess it's just kind of fun seeing Bama guys in the Pro Bowl. They having fun out there. Go to watch them have fun. So Trayvon Diggs and Patrick Surtain giving Bama that DBU plug with the way they performed there in the Pro Bowl games. But take our final break here on the show and touch that down. When we get back, we get into the discussion of where are we in the Jeremy Pruitt update. We'll tidy up loose ends after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back into the action from the break. Rocking and rolling right here on the hottest show in these streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got to remember, people, on tomorrow, streaming right here, 6 p.m. Central Time on TDA's YouTube channel, we got the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker, and Bama legend Marvin Constant, two-time national champion and USFL champion Bo Scarborough, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. And I believe we will have former Alabama linebacker Christian Miller, his dad, Corey Miller, on the show. Man, we got you with the laughs, the Bama legends, the conversations of talking Tide football. The Bama Standard, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. But we get into the discussion, Eli, that everybody wants to talk about. So where are we in the Jeremy Pruitt update? Where are we? Especially with Coach Saban making the announcement, well, not Coach Saban, but the announcement coming out that Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator for Alabama. What does that do with Jeremy Pruitt? I mean, he was the popular name in all of this. He was the guy that so many people were hoping to be the defensive coordinator. So, according to so many vetted people that I trust sourcing this information, this is what I've been told. This is what I've been hearing here in terms of Pruitt. And some things have been put out, but here's what I've been told here of Pruitt. So, Jeremy Pruitt is expected to be back at Alabama in the capacity of a defensive analyst. Alabama wanted to get him as a defensive coordinator. Nick Saban wanted hard and tried hard to get Pruitt as a DC for this year, but all of the tape from the NCAA in terms of the recruiting stuff that happened at Tennessee, they couldn't get him as a DC right now. So Saban had to make the move of, let's get Kevin Steele in here and try to work on having Pruitt as the defensive analyst. So Pruitt is expected to come to Alabama as the analyst and operate from behind the scenes in terms of helping this defense get back to flying around, knocking guys' heads off, and being successful. Pruitt and Kevin Steele have a close relationship with each other. They respect each other, appreciate each other. So Jeremy Pruitt is expected to, from what I'm being told, join in terms of being a defensive analyst for the Crimson Tide. Now, I've also been told this, and we will see if this happens. In the event that Pruitt is cleared by August the 1st or before August 1st, there still could be a way and form where he could still maybe slide into that DC role, and Kevin Steele goes to an off-field role where he can still be a part of the Alabama football program. But it's more than likely that Steele serves as the DC and Jeremy Pruitt expected to be back as a defensive analyst. At this point, there's still the opportunity that Pruitt returns in some way, shape, and form for Alabama. But I'm being told, people that I know in the situation, is Jeremy Pruitt is expected to be back as a defensive analyst for the Crimson Tide. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what people wanted anyway, to have Pruitt back at the program. Now, of course, y'all would have loved, defensive coordinator, him running that defense on the field, barking at people, making the calls, all that type of ordeal. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody just wanted a situation where could Pruitt return to Alabama. Didn't quite care in what capacity, but could he return to Alabama? But I'm being told defensive analyst is the move here that is expected for Pruitt to make in returning to Alabama. So that's just where we stand here, where the Jeremy Pruitt update is concerned. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best news, notes, information, coverage when it comes down to your Crimson Tide. You can check this out by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. You can check those sites out right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll try to be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. Gotta shout out my man Bo Scarborough coming on the show, giving us his thoughts here on all things Crimson Tide football. Appreciate him. Gotta thank you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football, for all of the likes, for all of the chats, for all the conversations that you brought to the table, making this your show to talk Bama football. As always, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, you check out the Bama Standard, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker and Bama legend Marvin Constant, the man Bo Scarborough, two-time national champion, USFL champion, and yours truly, Stephen M. Smith's going to have an outstanding show on tomorrow. And I'll also show some love to my man Eli Walker in the production studio, handling things behind the scenes. And Eli got my whole family addicted to body armor. I mean, look at this. Got my whole family addicted to this drink. Eli, we're going to have our NIL deal soon with body armor. We're going to probably have to have that at some point soon here. Hopefully before the fall comes in. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.